The June 27th, 2022 regular meeting of the Cinnaminson Township Committee is now called to order. Everyone please rise and join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, C-231. Notice of this meeting was published in the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 7th, 2022. Roll call roll call, Madam Secretary, please.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Conda.
Present.
Mr. Horner is absent. Mr. Segrist.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Here.
Mayor Craybill.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we have committee liaison reports this evening. We'll start with Committee Member Conda, Administration, and Health and Senior Services.
This evening, Madam Mayor, I have nothing to report with regard to Administration and Health and Senior Services.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Conda. Committee Member Horner's not here. Committee Member Segrist, Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to remind everybody, brush crews are currently working through Section 4 of the township. Residents are reminded that leaves and grass clippings are not to be combined with their brush piles. Any contaminated piles will not be collected. And as a reminder, the Public Works yard is open 24/7 to drop off brush, leaves, and recycling cardboard. No grass clippings may be dropped off at Public Works. I'm going to skip down here. Reconstruction of Union Landing Road is currently underway. Crews are currently installing new curb and gutters to assist with drainage. Residents should expect daily signed detours. The project is expected to be completed by the end of August. If any residents have any questions regarding the project, they should reach out to Public Works directly. Phone numbers 856-829-6000, extension 2399. And then one more update regarding trash, bulk pickup. And this will be discussed on a resolution later on in the consent agenda. Next curbside bulk pickup is scheduled for July 6th and July 7th. Bulk may be soon collected weekly with regular trash collection. If this happens and it's approved on tonight's agenda, a postcard will be distributed to all residents with updated scheduling information. Residents are reminded if they are disposing of a mattress, it must be placed in a mattress bag. Mattress bags can be purchased at local big box stores such as Home Depot and online as well. Any questions, again, you can reach out to Public Works, 856-829-6703. That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Segrist. Deputy Mayor McGill, Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's going to be short and sweet tonight. May 22 activity report for the police department. Total incidents responded to was 2591. Total arrests made were 33. Total property checks made 809. Total motor vehicle stops 353. Total motor vehicle summons issued was 241. And total DWI arrests was 6. That concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McGill. And myself, covering Parks and Recreations and Veterans Affairs. We have a lot of community activities happening this summer. Our summer concert series will be starting Thursday, July 7th at 7 p.m. at Wood Park. Our first featured band will be Jetstream. The concerts will continue every Thursday evening and run through August 25th. Summer tennis lessons will resume July 12th through August 4th and take place every Tuesday and Thursday at the tennis courts at Wood Park. The program is open to all residents ages 5 and up. Participant registration is required, so please go online to the Cinnaminson website, cinnaminsonnj.org, to find the application and registration. You can find it under News and Events. That concludes my report. Okay. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Mr. Schubiger, can you please give us some detail regarding the resolution on tonight's consent agenda?
Sure, Mayor. We have a number of resolutions on tonight's agenda. If it's okay, we're going to move ahead to Resolution 103, which involves the Sienna development in the township. And I'd first like to introduce our Economic Development Coordinator, Mike Minton, who has some comments, and then our Township Attorney, Stuart Platts, also has some comments as well.
Thank you, Mr. Schubiger. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, members of the Township Committee. Tonight, it's my honor to introduce what will be the successor firm to Capital Senior Living, who is the current owner-developer of the Sienna project. Before I do, I think it's just, we'll take a moment and pause and think about this project. Of all the redevelopment activities we have done, and Mr. Schubiger and I talk about this all the time, the Sienna project by far was the most complicated transactionally. Well, isn't our biggest project, but is the most complicated, and as I see Deputy Mayor McGill shaking his head, it probably had the most significant impact on the quality of life in Cinnaminson. It replaced some 6, 7 motels along that motel row. It started in 2006, with Peter and Stephen Hovanian having an idea to purchase that. But as you can imagine how entangled that was, dealing with all those property owners. We lived it with just a few property owners. All those separate property owners, the governing body was a true partner in this process, guaranteed the bonding, and therefore had certain rights to the project, to the success of the project. About 5 years in, the economy changed, similar as it did today, as it is now. We entered a recessionary period. They only had 5 of their units built, only 2 really occupied. The market had changed from a fee simple project to a rental community. And the governing body at that time was extremely concerned that there would be no drop off in the quality of the development. And as they granted what we call phase 2 and allowed phase 2 to go ahead and build out those 5 units, the developer became even more entangled in financial issues, and the property sat. I think it's fair to say we were presented with 10 different alternatives to finishing the project. And finishing the project meant 7 additional units, a total build out of about 200 residences with a clubhouse. And of all those, the quality of those developers were really suspect. We were indeed very fortunate to have Capital Senior Housing join the team, take over the project for Hovanians, made it whole, and we're able to move forward. And I believe a representative of their company is with us this evening, counsel for them. And we're very, very fortunate. And I think we can all think back just a few years ago. Mr. McGill, I believe you were the mayor that year. It was in November, and we celebrated with great joy the grand opening. We can all even remember Peter singing, and it was a tremendous day. The fire department was there, the police department was there, the high school band. And let me then remind you, 3 months later, COVID hit. And while the world shut down, somehow our dumb luck didn't let that shut down. And they've completed the project, and arguably today it's 100% full. So this is, today we celebrate the governing body and the citizens of Cinnaminson's opportunity to get out of the redevelopment business for this project and turn it over to a new company. And I'm honored to introduce to you tonight Joe Fox of Living Street Capital. They're a local firm. They're a national enterprise, a local firm based in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, I believe in Radnor. And one of their local projects that I know well is in King of Prussia. You know, King of Prussia Mall went through a major revitalization, created Main Street, and they built out a quality project in King of Prussia. If you're ever up there and take a look at how that residential component has developed, they've been a part of that. So with that, Madam Mayor, I'd like to introduce Mr. Joe Fox and welcome him to Cinnaminson.
Thanks, Mike. Madam Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to be in front of you today. As Mike mentioned, our firm is Livingston Street Capital. I'm a co-founder of that firm. We are buyers and acquirers of properties all over the country. We own over 500 million 55 and older active adult and independent living communities. What's nice about this project for us, it's right in our backyard. We are in Radnor, Pennsylvania. That's where we're housed. I'm a local guy, grew up in the Philly area, went to St. Joe's in Philly, so this was a very easy commute for me to come over tonight to speak in front of you. As Mike mentioned, the project that you may be familiar with is called Canvas. It's in the King of Prussia Town Center. It is a 55 and older community. I would tell you 55 and older is a little bit different than multifamily in general. The average age is probably across our portfolio 73 to 74 years old, but they're active, they've sold their house, and during COVID, we had unbelievable collection rates because these folks, this is their community. It's a lifestyle that they've chosen as opposed to an apartment building. So we are heavy activities, and it's not shuffleboard and bingo. It's really about yoga, wine tasting, book club, all these different activities that go every day of the week. So it's a very active community, and I think it's very good for the community as well. And so Mike had mentioned the history, which was a troubled history. CSH did a great job, and we're really the beneficiary of that, and we will continue to own it for a long time. We are long-term owners, and we are what's called low-leveraged owners as well. We don't put a lot of debt on our properties, so throughout the different economic cycles, which will come and go, hopefully we'll be here for the long run. So we're excited about this project. We think it's a great project, and you can expect us to be a good owner and a good steward for the community. So thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
Do you have any questions?
Is that it?
No?
All set? Okay.
All right, thank you,
very much.
Mr.
Thank
Fox.
very much.
Thank you, welcome.
So, Mayor, to finish up, thank you, Mike, and nice to meet you, sir. So, Resolution 103 essentially is the legal piece of what Mr. Minton said at the end, and it is a resolution that authorizes several things. First of all, it authorizes a certificate of completion. And a certificate of completion is the legal equivalent of saying that the redevelopment project is complete, that the redeveloper has now been released from their obligations under the agreement. That did not come with just a stroke of a pen. There was an evaluation. The township engineer went out and reviewed everything. All departments looked at it and determined, in fact, that they made a recommendation to this committee that a certificate of completion under the state redevelopment statute, the state of New Jersey, allows the certificate of completion to be acted upon this evening. Secondly, there was, as part of that project, a short-term 5-year tax abatement, and there's still time left on that tax abatement. And so what you're also doing is authorizing the transfer of that tax abatement from the former owners to the new owners. And then finally, there is a provision in here that indicates that the parties will be reimbursing the township for the professional fees that went into reviewing all of this and allowing the township professionals to make a recommendation. So that is essentially Resolution 103. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Platt.
Thank you, Mr. Platt. Mayor, I have all the other resolutions to go through.
Okay.
I do just want to add one comment on that. Again, welcome. And Mr. Minton, you referred to some good fortune as part of your comments, and of course, I'm not going to discount that, because in anything that happens that is good, you get a little good fortune once in a while, but I think you'd agree, really starting with you and your efforts, this is just symbolic of what the township and the township committee has done the past several years from the start of COVID through today. I think the product speaks for itself. All the projects we're getting done, that comes from planning. It comes from some ingenuity. It comes from lots of calls and meetings and just pushing through, plowing through. And Mike, thank you for all your efforts. And of course, the township committee for giving us the authority to do that. I think that puts us in a place where we are today. So once again, good luck. We look forward to working with you. A great facility. I know I had some comments the other day. I'll reiterate them. I get so many nice comments about that complex. So Keep it that way, please. All right. Okay, on to the other items. Resolution 95 is authorizing a Chapter 159, which is an item of revenue. This is for the Alcohol Education and Rehabilitation Fund. The township received the grant award in the amount of $6,475.22 from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety. This action will insert an additional appropriation into the budget, and the funds that will be appropriated will be utilized by our municipal court to hold special court sessions. Resolution 96 is authorizing an additional Chapter 159 item of revenue for our Clean Communities grant. The township received the grant award from the New Jersey Department of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection in the amount of $38,362.16. That will also be inserted into the budget. And in this case, the funds are utilized by our Public Works Department. We have special cleanup days, recycling days throughout the year. We just had one not so long ago, which residents find very helpful. Resolution 97 is authorizing the submission of a grant application and the execution of a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for a municipal aid grant program. That's going to be for the reconstruction of Morgan Avenue. And based upon a review of our township road improvement plan, which was adopted just over a year ago, as well as analyzing the current PSE&G gas main replacement work in town, our engineer, Remington and Vernick, our Public Works Director, Kevin Gaunt, myself, as well as a couple of our committee members, liaisons to that committee, we looked at that list and came up with Morgan Avenue as the project that we were applying for based upon all those factors. And I will say that that grant's going to be submitted, hopefully, after it's authorized in the next several days, and that's for just about $1 million of grant funds for road improvements. So we look forward to that. Resolution 98 is authorizing a contract award to Robert Ganter Contractors. That's for the reconstruction of the library roof. 2 bids were received and reviewed by our staff and our professionals. The lowest responsible bidder is, in fact, Robert Ganter Contractors in the amount of $232,000, $197.90. I will say in this case, that amount is within our budget and below the township engineer's estimate, which is always very nice. So our engineer, and again, a Public Works Director, and our CFO and purchasing agent, Ms. Edmondson here, recommends that the governing body award that contract tonight. Resolution 99 is authorizing the purchase of 2 Ford Interceptor utility vehicles, otherwise known as Ford Explorers, for the police department. Our police chief, Rich Calabrese, and Ms. Edmondson recommend the purchase of those vehicles. They will be for patrol use. That is in the amount of $81,033.84, and that will be through a Sourcewell cooperative purchasing agreement that the township has with Sourcewell. Resolution 100 is authorizing an award of contract to Motorola Solutions for police department radios. This also comes from our police chief, Rich Calabrese, who's recommended that we move ahead with purchasing these radios under a state contract with Motorola. Ms. Edmondson's in agreement. Those 4 radios are in the amount of $19,763. Resolution 101, authorizing and approving an amendment to the contract for solid waste collection between Cinnaminson Township and Republic Services. Committee member Seagrass alluded to this in his comments before. It's not news that we are having difficulty with our trash collection with Republic Services in town. I can tell you, Mr. Gaunt here in the audience has been a tremendous asset to the township. When it is a contractor that we have, he spends as much time on that as he does anything else in town. He's spreading himself thin. So we worked with Republic, many calls and meetings, and we asked them, how can we help you help yourself, essentially? I went Jerry Maguire there. So
Show me the money.
they gave us several options, and what we've come up with is going from bulk collection monthly to weekly. So it's an increase in service for residents, and it helps them with the staffing issues that they currently have and their equipment issues that they currently have. They have shown us some data that shows us that this should be an improvement for the township. I believe it will. There is no additional cost to the township. It does not extend the contract. And by virtue of the contract that Mr. Platt and his associates helped draft, thank you, sir, they are responsible for the marketing. So they are going to do the postcard. They're going to finalize all that. Everyone's going to get a postcard in advance notifying them of this change, again, at no cost to the township. So this is just one way we're trying to improve this service that is not going well right now. We're fully aware of it, and we're going to continue to try to make it better. This is one step, and I'll say this to everyone in the public, and I'll say this to Republic, as I have several times in the past several weeks. This does not mean it's the last step. We're going to continue to monitor this and make sure that they honor their contract. And in the meantime, again, thanks to Mr. Platt and his associates, we are issuing fines and violations to Republic, unfortunately very often, unfortunately for them, not for us. So we're doing everything we can. We know it's frustrating. I appreciate everyone's patience as we try to work through this. So please, I know the governing body listens to everything we say and takes it and analyzes it. This is something very important. I hope that you'll consider it tonight in the next few minutes. And then finally,
Just if
Oh.
I can also just add to that, Mayor.
Yes, please.
This is a situation that most people realize is industry-wide. Obviously, we're concerned about Cinnaminson, and I just have to tell everybody here on committee as well as in the public that Eric, our administrator, and Kevin, our head of DPW, have done as good of a job as I've seen in any other community in South Jersey, so they should really be applauded for what they have been doing, what they are doing, and what they are going to do with this problem, and I think they've done a great job of getting their hands around it, so well done.
thank you, Mr. Platt. Appreciate that. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. I think I have one last one. This is 102, authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management. This comes to us from our Emergency Management Coordinator, Danny Norman. So the Federal Emergency Management Agency, otherwise known as FEMA, has determined that the township is eligible to apply for FEMA public assistance funds and hazard mitigation funds. However, the township is required to enter into this agreement with the Office of Emergency Management because they are the fundee of those funds. So all we're doing is establishing a relationship with NJOEM so that when the money comes in, we can get it. So again, another one that I think we should be authorizing. And again, thank you to Danny Norman, our Emergency Management Coordinator, for bringing that to our attention. Mayor, those are the resolutions tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Schubager. Okay, we will go to public comment on the consent agenda items only. May I have a motion to open public comment for the consent agenda items only?
I'd like to make a motion, Madam Mayor, to open public comment on consent agenda items only.
Okay, I will second. Voice vote, ayes?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Ayes have it. Public comment is open for the consent agenda items only. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Anyone? Bueller?
Okay, seeing no one come forward.
We have one.
Oh,
Oh.
come on forward. You're fine.
No, I just wanted to know, can we say something about the trash pickup?
Yeah, that's part of the consent.
That's part of the
It's part
consent
of the
agenda.
consent
Come on
agenda,
up.
so you absolutely can.
We live at 923 Davis Avenue, Port Cinnaminson. My name is William, her name is Merle, her last name is Towns. We've been having problems with trash pickup since 2020. I started having problems, then I started putting things in the calendar every time they wouldn't do something. Now, you're saying you are having this resolved somewhat? Well, I don't see it. Right now, like in our area, we have pickup on Thursdays. Been like that since I've been living there. Well, my problem is I'm on a dead-end street, and the guy don't want to, he backs down the street, but he don't want to drive down the street, so he don't want to pick up he don't want to pick up my trash. He's told people, neighbors have told me, that he asked them to put the trash on the other side and make it more convenient for him. Now, right now, when I ride around the street, half the area's not picked up, and everybody's supposed to be picked up Thursday. So I don't see any resolution of what's going on.
So,
And
just
this
so,
has been Thursday now, trash is all over the
yeah,
place.
so, in case there was any miscommunication, I think there's a huge problem in town. And I
So
think
what?
I think there is a huge problem. We're trying to fix it. We don't think it's fixed. You said you're at 923?
Yes,
Okay, so the Public Works Superintendent is behind you.
I have talked to him.
And I'm here. I will meet someone from the public out at your property this week to make sure they understand exactly the issue that you're having and why, regardless of whether it's a dead-end street or whatever, they have responsibility to pick up your trash.
Now, he'll sometimes get out of the truck and take it, because the arm, he has one arm, it's not both, so he can't pick up going one direction.
Understood, right.
So he'll come and get mine, but he won't put it back. He'll leave it on the other side, so I gotta walk. And then he's telling people, so I understand, like the girl living next door to me, she had fear what he must have said to her. But she moved, but, I'm just saying this is what's going on. Right now, the place looks a mess. Trash is all on the streets. And this has been Thursday. Supposed to pick up, this is Monday. And like I seen it where I called them. I at first started calling Republic. And they would first give me the runaround like some companies do. Well, I'll pass it on to the supervisor. Well, you don't hear from the supervisor.
Right.
And then, like it took like a whole week to get my trash picked up. So now we're playing Russian roulette with this trash company.
Now, you don't need to do that.
You know what?
You shouldn't have
I
to
hear
do
the
that.
truck come, and we're looking out the window to see if he's going to pick it up.
Is
And
your
like we're
trash-
saying, oh, there he goes. Well, no, it's another week.
Sorry to interrupt. Is your trash from Thursday still at your house today?
No,
They did.
but they
No.
didn't pick up the other streets.
That's, okay, I just want to make sure I don't need to tell them to go to your house specifically. But in the meantime, we're going to have a meeting out there. I'll meet our superintendent to make sure, if we have to show the driver how to do their job, I'll do my best to show them how to do their job. Because you need to get your trash picked up on time. There's nobody up here who disagrees with that at all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one else come forward, may I have a motion to close public comment on the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
Voice vote, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays, abstentions? Ayes have it. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. I will second. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Conda,
Aye.
Mr. Segrist,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill,
Aye.
Mayor Crayville.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of June 6, 2022?
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion to approve the minutes from June 6, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Segrist. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. McGill. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Conda,
Aye.
Mr. Segrist,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill,
Aye.
Mayor Crayville.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the bills. I will make a motion to approve the bill list. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, I stole your thunder.
It's out of order.
It's out of order.
is. You're all out of order.
Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Conda,
Aye.
Mr. Segrist,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Crayville.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any comments from committee members tonight?
Who picked me?
Staff first.
Staff and professionals? All right.
You want to do staff first?
I will do staff first, guys.
All right.
Do we have any comments from our staff or our professionals tonight?
Nothing further from me, Mayor.
No, thanks, Mayor.
Everybody's
Thank
good?
you.
All right, so we're going to move on to public comment.
What? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
You all right?
Yes. I'm sorry.
May I have a motion to open public comment?
Make a motion, Madam Mayor, to open public comment.
May I have a second?
I will second that, Madam Mayor.
Voice vote, ayes.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Ayes have it. Public comment is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Jamela Shepherd, 215 Front Street, Palmyra, New Jersey. I'm speaking on behalf of the Civic Club of Riverton, East Riverton, and Palmyra. I spoke at the last meeting, which was in May, and in May, I was given a response that the tennis court in the East Riverton section would be fixed. Those 2 panels have not been fixed. I think Ms. Cavell, you had mentioned that you would look into it over that weekend.
Yes,
And-
Mr.
and-
Schubiger, did you
Sure.
want to respond?
And
Mayor-
it's not
How we
fixed
look-
yet.
The mayor did look into it, and she directed us to make sure it was fixed. And I directed our Public Works Director to order the material, and he's right here. I don't believe it's in yet. Is that correct? Correct. All right, so we're working on it, but we are moving ahead with fixing those panels. Even though we don't know what the ultimate fate of that park is as far as the improvements, we're going to fix it.
Okay, because remember, it wasn't an improvement, it was a repair.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
repair was supposed to be done before we even got to the COVID situation. So my understanding right now, just to be sure, the 2 pieces of fence or gate is on order?
We're moving ahead with it, and as soon as it's in, we're going to get them back up.
Okay, but it is on order? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Okay. All right, seeing no one else come forward, I will make a motion to close public comment. May I have a second?
I will second that.
Voice vote, please. Ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Ayes have it. Now we'll move on. Do we have any comments from committee members tonight?
I have nothing this evening,
Mr.
Mayor.
Seegers is raising his hand down
He's
there.
got something.
A couple things. One, I wanted to congratulate St. Charles Carnival for having a successful and safe carnival again this year. It's been a couple years. It's in my backyard, and I think it was uneventful as far as any issues. And I'm sure that they raised a lot of money for a good cause. A couple other things I wanted to recognize. I recognized this at the last meeting. Cinnaminson softball McKeever tournament was a great event. And this past weekend, a successful Cinnaminson baseball summer slam. One was at Wood Park, and the other was at Memorial Park in Cinnaminson. Kevin Gaunt, Mike McDonald, our buildings and grounds supervisor, they did an awesome job on the fields, upkeeping during and after. And I want to thank all the volunteers for both baseball, softball, and for St. Charles. That's it for my comments, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Mayor, can I just piggyback on that?
You sure
I said I
can.
wasn't going to talk, but.
No, go right
You
ahead.
had
Go
your
right
chance,
ahead.
Staff.
So I just got to say, and Kevin knows this, and I saw a photo prior to that tournament that our parks foreman shared with me. The field looks like the Field of Dreams. They take a lot of pride in the parks and the fields. I've had, and some of you know this, I've had umpires, coaches, parents of players in the past couple years call me, right? And just so I know how great our fields are and how they look forward to playing on our field. So thank you, and to your staff, as the committee member said, and I know they all feel the same way. You guys do a great job, and we take a lot of pride in those fields, and it shows. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Albert,
Any
you
other
finished?
comments? He's finished.
Sure.
Okay.
He said he was done.
I just want to, like I do every meeting, thank our professionals, our staff, our fire, police, public works department, and all, like I said, our professionals for continuing to do their duty and keep this township running smoothly through a pandemic. And I think we're kind of out of it now, but we're still, I would say, one of the jewels of Burlington County. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. McGill.
You're welcome.
All right, we do have a closed session on tonight's agenda. Mr. Platt, do you anticipate any official action this evening?
I don't think so. I expect it to last, Linda, 5 minutes? not to exceed 15 minutes. Although we don't anticipate any action, we always reserve the right to do so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Platt. May I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor, to go into closed session.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
Voice vote, ayes, aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, ayes have it. We will be in closed session.